Maybe after once in a lifetime, we'll figure out what we lost.
Matt Berninger, the voice of the National, is bringing his solo tour down under with shows at the Sydney Opera House and Auckland's Holy Trinity Cathedral. We found Matt at home in Connecticut and asked him what National fans can expect from the stripped-down solo show.
It'll be different. I mean, I do play usually every night, 3 or 4 National songs.
Sure.
But it'll be a much more stripped back, intimate thing. And then I love touring with the National, but this is the touring solo with this, and especially with the sort of the trio thing that I'm going to be in Australia, New Zealand with, are real kind of a lot of eye contact and a lot of a lot of real sort of intimate interaction, which is, I had missed that, with the National. The show's become so big and such a big production, and which is I have a lot of fun with. But doing these kind of things has been really, really, injected a whole kind of different love for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been having a lot of fun, and I can't wait to do it.
Oh, good, because I think the last time National we were here, you were at Spark Arena, which is this big, like 12,000 seater thing, and I think you're playing in a church here in Auckland. So
yeah,
that's definitely big.
Yeah.
So some people would find that intimidating and kind of standoffish. Suddenly you're staring these people face to face. You prefer that, or?
Well, it's funny. Be honest, like when the first 10 or 15 years of the National, I had a hard time making any eye contact with people at all. I struggled with so much stage anxiety for a long, long time. And then the National got bigger and bigger, and I had to sort of, but even then, as the shows got bigger, then a different kind of distance happens. So now, going back and doing these shows, I have the sort of, I guess, I've built up I've lost some of the fear,
right?
And so I can do these songs and kind of look people in the eye, and kind of it sucks me into the songs and into the audience, or into the sort of the room, and the people having this, pretty. They're really, really intimate and intense experiences for me, and I think so are the National shows for sure.
Yep.
But it's this is just on a little bit more closer and more intimate kind of way.
Okay.
So,
all right.
It's been really nice.
Nice. Now, I think your most recent release is your version of Blue Monday that came out a few months ago.
Oh yeah.
So maybe you can tell me what brought that on.
How does it feel to treat me like you do? When you've laid your hands upon me, you told me who you are. Thought I was mistaken. I thought I heard your words. Tell me, how do I feel? Tell me now, how do I feel?
I don't know if we'll do an acoustic version of that.
Right.
Honestly, what brought that on is the band who I made Get Sunk with, and those guys. I would always be, before shows and sound checks, I'd say, "Hey, let's learn this for tonight," just kind of as a joke. And I was, the hardest songs and total iconic masterpieces. So I remember I one day I sent them that. Another time I sent them Kid A by Radiohead. And another, I can't remember, several songs that are just All Apologies by Nirvana, just like classics.
Yep.
And then I'd get the sound check and they'd already have learned it, so I would have to come figure and I wouldn't even know half the lyrics. So it was sort of like it was a fake challenge to the band, and then it became a real challenge to me. So Blue Monday is one of those. That's how that came about. But yeah, we had a blast doing that. But yeah, so we do some covers, and I think we'll do maybe some. I don't know if we'll do some covers on this tour, but other than National songs. But I have two records of solo stuff. So mostly that and mostly National.
So what is the instrumentation you're coming with?
It'll be piano, guitar, acoustic, electric mixture. I'll have my harmonica
Okay.
with me. I'm bringing Monica along. I named her Monica. I've already written a song about her too.
Okay. Good.
Um, so yeah, it'll be pretty. It'll be kind of very very. I don't think anybody's going to need earplugs or anything like that. But
No.
yeah, but yeah, I think there's still, the bars will be open. It's not going to be like it's not a church show. I don't know. Is there going to be a bar in the
I don't know.
church?
This is a new
Maybe
new new venue.
I can't promise any
It's
alcohol.
not an operational church anymore, but it looks very church-like.
Okay, well, good.
So you should be okay, I reckon.
Bar somewhere.
Now you mentioned
Sneak
a
it in.
song. I think you've been performing a song called "Ask for Water." Is that a kind of work in progress, a new tune?
Yeah, that one I keep changing the names and song, but that one I think is going to be called "Ask for Water." There's another one called "Martini Mi Fatso," and then there's another new one which used to be called. I'll tell you, it's called "Black Letter" right now, but it used to be called "Black Letter Font," as in like a typeface. But
Yep.
then somebody thought I was saying black leather thong.
Oh yeah, that's a problem.
It's a long story.
That's a whole
But I've
different
changed
song,
the whole
right?
chorus
That's
of that. It's a whole different song.
Could be.
I shouldn't have even said that. No, but that now it's just like putting a letter on the windshield of somebody's car. It's called Black Letter, but it is not about any leather under things.
Okay, well,
at all.
that's good to know. It's not.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're constantly writing. Are you writing as much now as you were
rewriting
20 years ago? Has your writing process changed?
Yeah. Yeah, I am. I mean, I go through phases where I write more, and then there are phases where I kind of get dried up and then have to change up. There are phases where I get dried up and can't do anything. But yeah, I've been in a pretty uh, juicy writing period for a while now, and I'm in the middle of it right now. I'm working on national records and songs, and I'm working on an Elvi record, which is another side project I have.
Right.
And writing more solo songs too with this band that I made Get Sunk with. So yeah, I've been writing a lot and making a lot of art and stuff.
Did the move from LA to Connecticut make any effect on it?
I think that's a big part of it. Yeah, I think that was a big part of it. I've learned this about myself. I kind of need to uproot and go to some new place and kind of refigure out how to be a person and an artist feels like every 10 years, every 8 to 10 years. So who knows where I'll end up next, but and I think it's my family, my daughter and my wife, it's kind of, we've all, enjoyed these kind of moves. So this one's been a good one for us.
Oh, good.
For sure.
Well, that's good to hear. Now, if I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, when you started out, before you were a musician, you were what? You were in advertising?
I was a creative director at a new media firm, which we did a lot of like building of the early websites, and a lot of it was sort of designing. It was kind of really great for a while. It was sort of like the when the printing press was invented.
Right.
We were designing. It was even before they knew whether websites should scroll to the side or up and down, and we were designing websites and trying to figure out that. So that part was fun. Eventually, I did it for about 8 years. Eventually, it became into designing a lot of advertising, and I was working for pharmaceutical companies like Viagra, and I was working for MasterCard. And
sounds very rock and roll.
So it was. No, I know, and then the bubble burst in that, and I was ahead of a lot of the creative director and had a big team of people, and then we had to start laying people off, and that became really miserable. So
right.
Yeah, and so that's kind of when the National started. So eventually I laid myself off and kind of dove off into this bridge, and I'm glad I did.
Are you kind of a tech head, or were you involved in the technological side of it, or?
No, I was. I learned that I could build a website back in the day,
And that was when you actually had to know what you were doing.
But I was pretty, and I was designing icons and little, with pixel by pixel and
Right,
stuff,
right.
and for a lot of different the early, really, it was fun, and I worked on some really cool projects. The Metropolitan Museum of Art, their first website.
Oh.
Was really kind of a fun thing to do, but eventually it was mostly about selling ties and stuff from the gift shop. Right?
Right.
everything became commerce.
It's all about the merch.
It started out as art, and it all became commerce very fast. So yeah, I was really lucky to kind of. I don't know if I hadn't, the band hadn't really started bubbling then. I think I probably would have gotten out of that and tried to become an artist of some kind,
Right.
painter or a sculptor or something like that. But I still do that stuff a little bit, and I kind of use that process when I'm writing songs and kind of mix it all up.
Right. Do you have any thoughts or feelings about AI as it relates to what you guys do?
Not really. I am not worried about it. I just don't think. I just know art. People connect to an actual person struggling with actual things, and there's no way to convince. I mean, you can get deluded in thinking you're talking to, but I think that it isn't why people. It's not why people love great novels,
Right.
or like movies. Like I don't think there's going to be, unless you're watching animation, but then you're not going to care that much, So
No.
I'm not worried about it.
Okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. I mean, it's just another technology. It can be used or abused, I reckon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling we have to go. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for spending the time with me.
Here.
We'll see you. The church is right around the corner from here, so I'm going to go scope it out. I went for
Cool.
a tour there last
We'll see
year
you in church.
It's a real church, or it was, but now it's a music center.
Oh, great.
So education and performance and all that stuff. So it should be perfect.
I'll see you in church then.
Righto. If you enjoyed this episode of the 13th Floor's Music Talk series, please be sure to subscribe to the website or to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram and wherever you find your podcasts. There's a whole lot more to discover.